All right. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. My name is Ronald Gordon with Texas in Color. And we are here today, and we have somebody on that we've been dying to get on, and she is here. So I'm gonna let her introduce herself, and she's gonna tell you everything that's going on. Good morning.
Good morning. So thank you so much for having me. My name is Yvonne Pelayo, and I'm the new president for the League of Women Voters here in San Antonio. I've been a member of the board, since 2021, and I will say to your listeners that, this board and our, team of volunteers are absolutely amazing. Uh, our board members and our volunteers, they put in countless hours of their time and talent to help the Bexar County community. And they do this year round, not just during election. So I want to thank them. Not only do I want to thank you for having us on your show, but I want to thank them for all the work that they're doing, every single day, because, to help us carry out our mission.
Yes. So the league history in San Antonio. Can you share a bit about the league history in San Antonio and how has its role focus evolved over the years to adapt to the changing community needs?
Absolutely. So just a little bit of history, because the league is in three dimensions. Okay, so we have the League of Women Voters United States, then we have the League of Women Voters at the state level, not only in Texas but all the other states. Then you have your local league, for example, like San Antonio. So the League of Women Voters United States was founded in Chicago in 1920 by leaders of the women's suffrage movement, and that was done 6 months before the 19th Amendment was passed, giving women the right to vote. So for 100 years, the League has been a nonpartisan, activist, grassroots organization that believes that voters play a critical role in democracy. As a nonpartisan organization, and I cannot stress that enough, as a nonpartisan organization, the League does not endorse or oppose candidates or campaigns. The League of Women Voters Texas was founded in 1919 here in San Antonio at the St. Anthony Hotel. And during the 1920s, the Texas League conducted citizenship classes. They held out get out the vote campaigns. They published queries of political candidates, and we still do this today. The League of Women Voters San Antonio was formed in 1940. And so, as you can see, we have a very long history. We have been very true, to our mission, and our mission is to encourage informed and active participation of citizens in government and give voters the information they need to have the knowledge and the confidence to participate.
Hmm. So, what strategies does the League of Women Voters in San Antonio use to encourage voter participation and inform voters about candidates and issues?
Well, I got a lot to share with you there. So we have, you know, we have a very, first of all, again, our mission to inform voters, to give them the knowledge and the information that they need to participate, encourage that participation. And so we do that by a number of ways. I mean, first of all, we have, a very strong community outreach team. Our volunteers have had conversations with thousands of potential voters since the month of June, ramping up to this election. We have a dedicated youth outreach team. They have also had, tons of conversations with high school and college students, specifically, in the period of in the August to early October timeframe, with back to school events, new employee registration, new employee orientation. And not only is that a good opportunity, to connect with, high school and college students, those that will be eligible to vote soon, those that are, but also their parents. And of course, when we are having, face-to-face interaction, with all of these potential voters, we're helping them register to vote. We're helping them check their registration status. We're informing them of their voters' rights. We're letting them know about the nonpartisan information that we have available. Some other strategies that we've used as well is we have a voter reminder initiative. So, we have, when we're engaging with voters, we offer them the opportunity. Would you like to receive, some reminders from us? When the election season starts, would you like to receive reminders? We've had almost 1,000 people say yes. So those, almost 1,000 voters, they've given us their email address. And so during the election season, they will get 3 email reminders from us. They'll get a reminder when our online voters guide becomes available, and that's through vote411.org. They get a reminder when early voting begins. Then they get a reminder the day before Election Day. So again, that's something to help drive that accountability factor, because they asked us for the reminder, so we deliver the reminder. So hopefully that should, again, that accountability factor should translate into voter participation. We also, our program and policy team, they launched a video education series, and our wonderful social media volunteer helped us get those out on social media. Another one of our volunteers helped get it on our YouTube channel. But we have these short little videos that we just launched this week, for college students, because college students that are here coming to school in Bexar County, they have a lot of questions. I'm eligible to vote, but I'm coming to school here in Bexar County, but my address is in Harris County, because it's at my parents' address. So we need to let them know what their options are. Students that are coming to school here in Bexar County, their address is in another state. That's where their parents live, and so they need to know what their options are. So we, our program and policy team put a brief little video together that's out there, again, on our social media channels, to help college students navigate through that. They did a video on how to navigate through our online voters guide, nonpartisan voters guide, Vote 411. They did a video to help those voters who are visually impaired, make them aware of their rights and how to get assistance. And then there was a video done to help seniors, navigate through, the long lines, or mail-in ballots. So we've cut with that video series, and we've hit voters in various stages of their voting journey, right? Another initiative is, again, this is along the lines of communication, but we distribute several yard signs. And these yard signs, once again, promote our nonpartisan online voters guide, 411.org. We also, and I think what I'm about to say here is really important, we have some wonderful collaboration, with community partners. For example, the food bank, Meals on Wheels. We have resource tables at the food bank's events. We can register voters. We can help them check their registration status. Give them access to our educational brochures, our nonpartisan voters guides. Meals on Wheels, they distribute our information, to their clients. We also had a senior initiative, wherein our volunteers were going to senior communities, meeting those seniors where they are, physically, and giving them information about, their rights, how to apply for a mail-in ballot if they're interested in doing that, sharing our nonpartisan voters information with them. And then lastly, I'm very pleased to say that another one of our initiatives is for this November election, we produced our voters guide in Spanish. So our voters guide is in Spanish in print, and online on vote411.org. So, that was a long grocery list there of several items, that give you an idea, of the work that we've been doing, to engage in vote, the voters in our county, and hopefully, result in increased voter participation because of the increased access to information and resources.
Okay. When you was talking about helping college students vote and all that stuff, are you aware of the limited ballot?
Yes, I've heard of it. I don't have the specifics of that, but I have heard of it. Okay. Jackie Callanan, who's our Bexar County Elections Administrator, she did mention during a press conference last week that hundreds of those had already been submitted. Again, on that one aspect there, I'm not too savvy, but I am aware of it.
All right, let me give you the deal on that. What it is, if you are a college student, you here in Bexar County, I'm just speaking of Bexar County only. Mm-hmm. And you are a registered voter in, let's say, El Paso, mm-hmm. You're able to vote here on the limited ballot, but it's only for the presidential and the Senate and some other state ones, but you're not able to do local ones. Mm-hmm. They can vote here, but the only thing is they have to do it during early voting because it's not offered on November 5th. So
thank you for helping with that background information there. But yes, thank you.
So I thought that was mighty interesting and stuff.
Mm-hmm. And it's just another wonderful tool just to make sure that everybody has an option to participate.
At least for the major ones, you're right on that.
Mhm.
Well, let's go back now. Let's talk about the major election. A lot of people don't realize that. Okay, we know about the Senate, presidential. It's the local races we need to really concentrate on because that's what dictates how this county and city is going to be ran.
That is so true.
Because I turned around and talked to several people. They didn't vote the full ballot because they said they didn't have time. I said, you waited in line for 3 hours and you got to click the next button and you couldn't vote.
Mhm.
I just said, I got to spread the word. You need to, the local election is more important than what you think. The school boards got a lot of power that you don't know about. You need to find out about. So I stress, make sure you do the local level voting.
Absolutely. What you're talking about there is community impact. And, local and state elections have a direct effect on our community and our daily lives, as you mentioned. We're talking about issues like taxes, public education, public safety, our electric grid,
Mm-hmm.
okay, and other infrastructure. These are all decided, at the state level and at the local level. And so that's why I'm asking everyone that's listening out there, please do not lose your enthusiasm. The enthusiasm that you're feeling today for the November election, do not lose it. Please keep it. Please continue to vote in local and state elections because all elections matter. And again, to your point, I mean, things that we have access to on a daily basis that we use, how we live and play in our communities, our safety. I mean, all of that is at local and state levels.
Yes, it is. Can you tell us about any civic education incentives the league has implemented in schools or communities to increase voter awareness and understanding?
Yes. So the league, again, we have a dedicated youth outreach team. Their target audience is, the high school students and the college students, that are here in the Bexar County area. One of the things that we do, is we have a youth contest. This year we're having our fourth annual youth contest. And, that's a way to bring in and draw in high school and college students, into the league and into thinking about voting, thinking about getting involved. And, so that is that youth contest has a theme. This year's theme is voting decisions, what matters to you. The last day for the contest is tomorrow, October the 31st. But high school students and college students, they can, participate in that contest by submitting either an art form that's either through the written word or visual art. And, we pick the top three. We have a committee that's focused solely on that contest. And they pick the top three and scholarships are awarded, to those three. We also collaborate with another organization that's here in our county called Youth Do Vote. And that organization is heavily, heavily involved, with high school and college students, helping them to register to vote, and informing them about voting, educating them. So we partner with them at events as well. Another thing that we do is that we, attend back to school events, new student orientation events, and we engage with students at all levels. When you go to these back to school events, or if a city council district has a back to school event where they're giving away backpacks full of supplies and stuff like that, you engage with students at all levels, right? And, a lot of those students, like elementary, junior high, high school, their parents will be with them at these events. So that's an opportunity for us to connect not only with those students to start planting that seed early, but to connect with those parents. And as we're sitting there talking with those parents, are you registered to vote? Have you seen our voter, registration material? Would you like reminders? Those students are sitting there watching and listening to us talk with those parents. And so, in a way, that kind of leads to what I call an accountability factor, right? Because then, the parents and the kids, they go home, and hopefully, those kids are starting to ask questions about their mom and dad, about, what matters to them, and do they vote and why they vote. And hopefully that's leading to dialogue in the home, to start planting that seed early, because, I think that that's really important to establishing, a voting ethic. Another thing that we've done, with the youth, to encourage them to participate, and again, a lot of this is about information and, clearing up, any misunderstandings, right? But another thing that we've done is that, when we've had resource tables at back to school events and community events, we'll take a voting machine and we'll allow, the students to do a demo, so they can see how it works. And then we've also been able to do some, been able to take some students on tours, at the Bexar County Elections Department. And, we get really good feedback on that. We're very grateful to the time that the Bexar County elections folks, given all that they've got going on right now, but they have made time, for these group tours when we've been able to do those and put those together. And, some of the feedback from those students, who have gone on those tours, the word enlightening or eye-opening is part of their feedback. So again, that's just a small list of things that we have done, to try to engage with young voters, first-time voters, just open their eyes, to, the importance of voting and the value of it, and give them the information they need to start planting that seed early and hopefully get them to be lifelong voters.
Yeah. So how does the League of Women Voters maintain its nonpartisan stance and activities engaging in issues that impact the voters?
Well, I mean, I think just staying, with facts, and using our league resources, because our league resources are made to be strictly nonpartisan, because that is a strict policy that we have. And so I will say that I believe the fact that the league is nonpartisan and staunchly nonpartisan, and all our materials are purely fact-based, based on the law, based on policies, that it helps break down barriers in communicating with voters. It eliminates that intimidation factor, I think. Our voters guides, our nonpartisan voters guides, those voters guides, provide information. For example, what are the identification requirements you need to vote? Where can you vote? What are the voting hours? What are the deadlines? And then here are the candidates that are on the ballot. Here are their responses in their own words. And, so that's how, that's a small snapshot, but that's, that is staying fact-based, staying neutral, staying focused around rules, regulations, laws, and any candidate information that we provide in our nonpartisan voter guides is directly from the candidate. That helps us stay within that realm.
Okay. So what are the main policies and issues the League of Women Voters is currently focused on, and how are they advocating for these while in San Antonio community?
Well, I will say that this gives me an opportunity to kind of highlight the league at all levels. For example, the League of the Women Voters United States, one of the things that they're keeping their eyes on, for example, is voting rights. Fighting for equal opportunity in our democracy. They use advocacy, they use litigation if they need to. They use resources like our nonpartisan Vote 411, to make sure that we're including more voters, expanding and protecting voter access, ensuring that elections remain fair and accessible. Elections, the League of Women Voters US is looking at our elections all across the country. Again, they use advocacy and, if needed, litigation to promote policies that make elections more equitable and accessible, and fight attempts to limit the freedom to vote. Some of the things that the league advocates for is implementing same-day voter registration, expanding the accessibility of mail-in voter registration, expanding voter locations. Registration deadlines being extended, things like that, to make things easier and more accessible to folks. Redistricting is another thing that the league looks at, and the League of Texas, the League of Women Voters of Texas is taking a look at that as well. Locally, here in San Antonio, we, the advocacy that we do, can be anywhere from, through hosting candidate forums, hosting policy forums. For example, back in April, the League of Women Voters here in San Antonio, we hosted a policy forum related to immigration. In the past, we've hosted, policy forums on topics like climate change. So at all three levels, right, we are, identifying important policies, or legislation, and we seek to educate folks on them, get their feedback, and just continue to monitor so that we can band together, as a greater league, if you will, with the resources and support at the state and national level, to advocate for these things.
So how does the League of Women Voters participate in community events, and how does this impact their outreach?
Well, we accept every invitation that we can, to be at community events, whether that be, again, like a back to school event, like a national night out, festivals, you name it, and we, so we accept every invitation that we can to have a resource table there, to have our educational brochures there, to have our volunteers there, to engage in dialogue, with voters, share our information, and hopefully break down those barriers, because that's the key, being present and getting the information out. Making sure that we emphasize, the access to our nonpartisan voters information, having information available in English and Spanish, is extremely helpful. We also have, several community partnerships, again, that are really helpful to us. NAACP, LULAC, religious organizations, again, Meals on Wheels, the food bank, our city council districts, our county precincts. So working together with all of those partners, again, helps us to be in as many places as we can possibly be, because that presence is what, leads to the results.
Okay. So how does the league handle the spread of misinformation, especially on social media, that could mislead or confuse voters?
So, that is definitely an issue, during this election cycle. And so what we do is we just make sure that, the information that we're handing out has been validated. We make sure that it aligns, to the standards of the state of Texas, and to our county. And so we validate and fact check everything that we distribute. And so, any messaging that, that you're receiving from the league, you can always, go back to a Bexar County Elections website and find that it ties right to that. But we're very consistent. We're very fact-based. We double check our materials and our information. We make sure that we train our volunteers, so that we're all saying the same message, so that's very important. And of course, I think our alignments, with other, organizations and partner in the community, sharing the same messaging as well, it promotes that unified message and that validity.
Yeah, we talked about this earlier, but I'm going to touch it again. How does the league educate voters about the impact of local government decisions, and what role does it play in fostering understanding of local issues?
I think through conversations, when you talk to folks and just say, what are the things that you are, what keep you up at night? What are the things that are important to you? And somebody may tell me, well, it's this issue or that issue, and it may be something that we say, okay, well, that issue is decided by the Bexar County's Commissioners Court, or that issue is decided by San Antonio City Council, or maybe someone's in a suburban city, right? Leon Valley, Schertz, Balcones Heights, Alamo Heights, but that is something that is, decided by your city council. That's something that's decided by the county. That particular issue that you may be interested in, that's something that's decided by our state legislature. That's something that's decided by Congress at the federal level. So, you tie those concerns back to those decision makers that impact that. And you try to tie to people, when you're voting, it's almost like you are hiring someone to advocate for you on those very things that you're concerned about, the things that you're concerned about because it impacts your senior citizen parents, or the things that you're concerned about because it's impacting, your children's future. Those things, just try to tie the things that people are concerned about to the legislative branch of government that decides it. And then try to tie it back and say, okay, so now, that the things that you care about are decided here, then shouldn't you weigh in at that level so that you can have an impact and send a message, to the elected voters about it? Because when you vote, you send a message.
Yes. So, does the League of Women Voters have any youth programs, such as a workshop, ambassador program aimed at educating young voters or even pre-registered high school students?
We do have a youth outreach team, that does the outreach in the youth community. We do have some members of our, of the youth of our younger community that are volunteers with us, and some of them are student members of the league. And so we will, they will join us, in reaching out to other groups, in town, to, educate them and spread the word. But we, for example, we've partnered in the past with groups like the San Antonio Youth Commission, help spread the word about our youth contest. So yes, we do have, we do have that interaction. We do have those connections, here in the city. Again, working with Youth Do Vote, which is a very active organization, locally with our high school and college students. So we partner with them as well at their events. We were recently with them, at their annual Voter and Poll Worker Fest for high school students. We were also, present for Texas Public Radio's Young Voters Listening Session. So again, trying to meet up with students where they are, to engage them, plant that seed, build that civic mindset, is something that we do our best to do year round.
Okay, so how does the league inform people about their voting rights, particularly for those who might face barriers such as formerly incarcerated individuals?
So we do have on our website, and we do distribute all the time, the Texas Voters Bill of Rights, and that's available in English and Spanish. But that document, lists, the Bill of Rights that apply for all of us. And that does include, for those that, who were incarcerated and, have already finished serving their time, letting them know, when they can move back into the voting community, if you will. But a lot of that is, through our face-to-face, interaction with folks out in the community, so that the folks that we're talking to can have an understanding of what those parameters are, what their rights are, and hopefully, take our materials and share those with, their peers, their friends and loved ones who would benefit from having that information.
Okay. Does the league collect feedback from voters about their experience, and how is this feedback used to improve their effort to address gaps in voters outreach?
We, we'll obtain feedback informally through, our conversations with folks, when we're present with in community events and activities, and we're interacting with folks. We don't have a formal survey on that, but I would say it's more on an informal basis. And, what's nice about that is, by listening to people's concerns, listening to, what is the theme, of the questions that we keep getting, listening to the feedback that people are sharing about their experience, that helps us to, develop, more materials. And it helps us to education materials, for example. It helps us to, better target, our community outreach, so that we can hopefully, help alleviate and break down those barriers. Some examples of this would be, we have, a brochure that we recently created in the fall. It's called How to Pick a Candidate. And this is available on our website. It's available in a printed version, when our volunteers are out in the community. And, that helps folks, it helps break down those barriers for folks, and kind of helps them, show, look, it's not that hard. It just takes a little bit of time to do a little bit of research and get in your mindset and prepare to vote. And once you do, you'll have that knowledge and confidence to participate. We created an informational brochure on primary elections, the what and the why and the how on primary elections, so that we can hopefully, get more people involved in voting in the primaries. People value, so they can learn the value of doing that, because as you know, voter turnout for the primaries, it needs improvement. And so again, the feedback that we hear, informally from folks as we interact with them, just helps us steer our efforts and our resources so that we can try to help, address those.
Okay. poll workers. Does the league have, or do they support and encourage citizens to become poll workers? And what has the response been?
So poll workers, what we'll typically do is, we will inform folks that have an interest in being a poll worker. We'll inform them of, where to go to sign up for that. If I'm not mistaken, that's something that they would do, through they do that through the Bexar County Elections Office. So we do have an educational brochure on folks that are interested in becoming poll workers. Again, that's on our website. But we will steer them to the Bexar County Elections Office so that they can, see what's involved in doing that and get signed up to do that.
Okay, final question. How can people be a part or be a member of your league?
Well, thank you for asking that. And I want to say two things. First of all, you can be a part of the league by becoming a member of the league and supporting our organization and getting more involved. You can be a part of the league by saying, I want to volunteer and I want to help you at your community events. The more volunteers, the better, especially if we have volunteers that speak or are bilingual and speak other languages. That's very helpful as well. So you can join the league by, again, formally join the league, becoming one of our volunteers, donating to the league, but I also want to say that another way is to invite the league to come to your community events, your neighborhood association events, your next National Night Out event. Maybe share some of our information in your community newsletters. Invite us to come speak, at your organizations. So it's kind of a two-way street, right? You can either get involved by joining us and coming with us, or inviting us and letting us share our information, with your group. And since we're closing, I just want to emphasize that, again, elections happen every year, and you can depend on the League of Women Voters San Antonio area to be out in the community to help and inform you and your friends and your peers. So bring them along with you and let us have conversations with you and your friends and your peers and share our information, our nonpartisan information with you. And also I want to say, think about being a mentor. Because when you vote, when you show an interest in voting, you're spreading that, amongst your family members, your children, your coworkers, and also think about the first time voters that are in your network. Maybe it's your sons and daughters, maybe it's your nieces and nephews, maybe maybe it's just someone that in your church or community, that's a young person, and maybe engage in conversation with them and just kind of help them along, take them under your wing a little bit, show them how you prepare to vote, talk to them about the importance of voting, help plant that seed. But the League of Women Voters is here for you in every phase of your journey. Okay, whether you're soon to be eligible to vote, you're newly eligible to vote because you're a high school student, a college student, maybe you've just been sworn in as a new citizen to our country. We're there to help you. We're there to help you if you need access assistance, because visually impaired, mobility impaired, and then for senior citizens as well. We're here to help you. So we're here for every phase of your journey. We're here for every election.
All right. We appreciate you coming on now. I'm going to reach out this to you. If you need anything from myself or Tammy, please don't hesitate to pick up the phone or drop us an email or something. If you got an event going on, you want to get out, please let us know so we could also support your league.
Well, thank you for that. Tammy has been a wonderful resource to the league, and I will keep that invitation in mind because we love the invitation. So thank you.
All right. You take care, and we'll talk to you later.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you for having us.
All right. Thank you. Thank you for watching Texas in Color. Please tune in every Wednesday at 11 a.m. And please don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit that notification button so you'll be notified each and every time we go on live.